Okay, hi guys. I'm gonna be doing something different today. Uh, um, I'm gonna be showing you games of the 2012 National High School Championship of the United States of America. Um, yeah, the age groups was between K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade, and the category that I'm gonna be showing you is under 1200. What you can get out of this is, yeah, how some amateurs play and how they could actually be playing better. Um, the games are all of the category, and the tournament was under 1200. And you guys might be thinking, well, Anderson, you're just picking on random tournament players who aren't that good. No, but these are games by me in the 2012 National High School Championship in Minnesota, Minneapolis. This was my first tournament. I ended with a score of 5.5 out of 7, and my play really isn't good. I've improved a lot since then. Alright, so let's get started with my first round game. There were 7 rounds, so this is going to be quite a video. Okay, after e4, c6, I started with the Caro-Kann, just trying to play solid. Here my opponent played knight to c3. Okay, I go d5, and he goes d3. It's a funny system. It looks playable, I guess. I did d takes e4, and he could have taken with the knight, but d takes. Yeah, for starters, guys, it's not really good to exchange queens like this so early and either lose your castling rights or bring your knight back to the first rank. So yeah, this looks good for white. It's a gain of time. But I played bishop g4, which just runs into f3. So more waste of time here. Chess has a lot to do with time, guys. You're just trying to develop your pieces out. Now I have to spend another move playing bishop to h5, where he goes g4, another move to bishop g6, and my bishop is completely caved in. He plays knight to c3, which he wouldn't have had to do if the queens wouldn't have been exchanged so early. I play e6. Remember, guys, this was from a year ago. I've gotten a lot better since then. Um, Bishop e2. He's simply developing. Bishop to e7. h4. Now my bishop's under attack, and I remember this nice little trick. Yeah, even then I knew open thing theory. h6. Leave a hole for the bishop. But after f4, he's leaving all these squares back here. Oops, what is this? Okay. All these squares as weaknesses back here with these pawn moves, and that's also not that great unless you're going in for the full kill, which I guess he was. After knight to d7, f5, e takes f, and bishop back. Yeah, so my bishop is completely out of play, out of the game. He plays g5, which he could have just developed, it would have been easier. But after this, a tactic arises. Yeah, here we have a problem. It's white's move, and he opts for g6. Oh no, it's black's move with g6. And after takes, the rook is gone. What happened here was I was stuck. After takes, let's say, I don't know. I remember thinking I was stuck, but I wasn't. Let's just say that, yeah, let's say f takes here real quick. Then, yeah, I don't know why I didn't play this. Anyway. G6 takes. Yeah. Quite the beginner here, huh? So I lost a rook. And I decide to castle queenside. After bishop e3, bishop takes c2 and rook h2, bishop g6, rook d1 and rook e8. This game actually ended in a draw somehow. I have no idea how. I quit taking annotations. Yeah, but hopefully this is a good example of how not to overrun the game with pawns, how not to trap your bishop on h7. It was just a very weird chess game, not very logical. That was probably one of my least in-depth one that I'll be showing you because, yeah. Here, this next game I actually took for the full annotation. I'm playing white in this game, so e4, e5, I think this is the variation. Okay, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5. Hold on, let me see if I can find this game really quick. Maybe I didn't even put it in actually. Bishop b5. Yeah, I'm using Fritz here. Fritz 12. Here we go. Bishop c5. The classical variation, so there is some opening theory going here. A common idea is to play knight to d4 here for black. Knight to d4 to try to exchange off this knight here, so to have an ease of development. But he opts for knight f6, entering some kind of Berlin. c3, castles, d3. D3 is kind of weird in the roy right now. h6, bishop back. But this does look standard. He goes for d4 here, which is some kind of martial attack kind of position, I guess. I go for bishop up here. He could have played bishop g4, which he didn't really go for. Here, I took because he's gonna lose the d pawn. Let's say after takes. Well, let's say queen takes. Queen takes. Then this bishop can come over and eat. So happens anyway. Queen d6. The idea of this is gonna be simple in a second. It was just to unpin his knight. Yeah, I'm trying to go to that spot, f5. Yeah, so I let him enter onto his 7th rank, which isn't that great. After queen h5, trying to get an attack, king h7, protecting the h6 pawn, knight f5, attacking again, bishop takes, queen takes with check, bishop back, and king h1. Yeah, not sure why. Rook b to b8. F4. Oh man, sorry. 11 years old. Okay, F4. Bishop D4, winning the queen. Simple tactics work when on a beginner like me. I play Rook F3. Takes. Check. He's killing me now. Okay, and here's the blunder. He's trying to get his queen into the action to mate me. but he left this tactic off, which I'm surprised I even saw at this level. Queen f5 check, king h8 check, and mate. So far I am here 1.5 out of 2 points. Yeah, it's going okay so far, I guess. My next game I played as black. Let's flip the board again. Oops. Knight f3, okay. And he opts for 2 knights defense. After d takes, knight takes, bishop g4. I do know my opening theory here, even when I was just in my first tournament. Bishop e2, e6, d3, h6, castles, knight f3. I'm just going over the opening quick because we didn't really mess up in the opening. A lot of professionals would still play this line actually. Okay, so the knight to d5, which looks very strong. After c3, which I didn't really understand, I played knight b to d7, and he played d5. I'm avoiding castling here because it's a positional game and it's pretty solid for both sides. I don't have to rush anything, and I go for the pawn storm anyway. f6. Now really questioning my defense here. Leaving a6 hanging, but I thought I could recapture on a3 there. He defends, I take. He has to take back with the g-pawn. This is a common theme. All the beginners are not worried about messing up their king side here, leaving these squares here really weak. Anyway, knight took the bishop and f takes, so I just fixed his pawn structure for him. But I had this check here, and he leaves the bishop hanging, but he told me after the game it was part of his plan. After queen takes, king takes, rook takes, and this. Yeah. The best idea for me could have actually been to, I guess it wouldn't have been bad to castle here, and it wouldn't have been bad to play rook a3 instead of just move king to e7, which is nonsense. After this, getting his piece back. I put the rook because I found out this rule about putting rooks behind passed pawns. I should have put both rooks onto the 7th rank, which I neglected because of this back row threat here. Yeah, and this is where my annotation stops. I end up losing this game, this endgame. I don't know, say it's his move. Yeah, he has to protect his back row too. Just simply pushing up, and with best play I would have figured out to put my rook on his 7th rank, but that leads to mate right here. Put this on the board really quick. Rook a8, back down.
Checkmate, amigo.
Yeah, that's mate. So the rook can't move to the 7th. Maybe king g8 here would be nice with his best play. Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe this was alright for me here. What about just rook here? Yeah, really forcing rook here actually. Oh man, just throwing a few moves on the board here. Yeah. This pawn's frozen, but after this is also winning for white. Just putting some random moves. I did lose this game. Yeah. My next game I didn't actually record. It started something like this. Yeah, that was a long game just then. I played as white and it did start with the Roy Lopez. Again, beginners, maybe Roy Lopez isn't the best idea for you guys because we don't understand the theory on it yet. Knight h6, which is weird. Castles. d5. So far I'm 1.5 out of 3. d5. Knight takes e5. Queen at g5. Yeah, and you guys can see how this game went. I think even this happened. Yeah, attacking the queen. Yeah. Oh wait, no, that can't be right. Yeah, something along these lines. But I won this game really easily after winning the exchange over there. Well, more than the exchange. That was the end of day 1. No. One more match before the end of day 1. I actually played as black on this next one, and for the first time ever, someone played knight f3 against me. This was a fun game. I've never played against knight f3 before this game. Just put a few moves on the board and it looks like we have a King's Indian defense. After d6, h3. I don't know, this is kind of, it is a line, but it's not very common. Knight a6. Another idea here would have been c5. He plays c5. Yeah. It doesn't really do anything, honestly. Queen a4 check. Takes. Could have taken back with the queen, but yeah, so both sides are pretty solid right now. Queen a4, he's just trying to exchange off material. I oblige because I win the e4 pawn. He castles. Bishop f5. Rook a to c1. Oh, yeah. Rook f to c8. Rook f to c8. Knight here trying to win the bishop. I attack his a2 pawn, d3. He protecting his a2 pawn. Get my knight to d5. He doesn't want to exchange bishops. I'm just going through this quick because there's not a lot of mind process through this. Check. King over. Bishop back. Don't want to leave a piece hanging. Notice how both of his knights are on the rims, which is very strange. g5, going for some kind of pawn storm, trying to break open my structure. Yeah, I have the 2 bishops, and this is just winning for white, honestly. Yeah. Each one of these games goes 2 hours, by the way. I never understood the concept of both the rooks to the 7th until there. Here's where it actually helped. And yeah, what's interesting is this quick endgame. I'm gonna breeze through it really quick. That passed pawn just cannot make it, and watch this. Somehow my king does get over there. Let's put this on the board, and it does end something like this. It does go like this. Oh wait, no. It ended with a queen versus a rook, and it took me forever to mate the guy. Oh my gosh. Let me put this on the board real quick. Insert a position setup. Yeah, just take one rook off. His king. Okay, let's just try to mate this guy with. Oh, it's white's move. Okay. Trying to mate someone with just a king and a queen against a rook is very difficult. I think it ends like this. No, it doesn't either. Check. Eventually, you do get it though. Yeah, and then you just win really quick. Putting a few moves on the board here. Don't want to stalemate here. Yeah, and that's mate. Yeah, this ended my day. This was this made it 4 matches in one day. I would have 2 matches the next day and 1 match on the last day. Yeah, and I ended with 2 wins, 1 draw, and a loss. So
Let the party begin.
not the best game. Okay, so let's move on. In this next match, I played white, and for some reason the quality of the matches do get better. I always play the Spanish here for some reason. I'm not a Spanish player anymore, honestly. I can play it though. Preventing this bishop here. Knight f6. So we're going completely against what the Spanish is. Yeah, this is for anyone who's just really curious about what it's like in these nationals, you know. Here, taking would have been just fine. What it's like at these junior tournaments. I'm not able to play under 1200 anymore. My rating has actually gone up. Bishop e7. I played knight to d5. He just castled. So I have a very strong knight here in the center, and I am playing this game reasonably good. Yes, anyone can play it really good with a 2-hour time limit. d3, c6, trying to kick my knight, which does work. Bishop to g5, b5, bishop b3, bishop to e6. I don't trade off, I want to play on the files. Rook A to C1, because I know if he takes, I'm gonna take with the C pawn and bust open this file. I understood files and ranks very good. What's next? C5. Yeah. C5. C4. He plays B4, closing it. Rook A1, getting ready to open the A file. He plays H6, bishop back. He plays Rook A to B8, getting ready for this A5 push, which actually happens. 3, A5. Here I play Rook F to B1. He goes for G5, bishop down. And this is already getting too aggressive. Look at how open his king side is. H5. Queen to E3, attacking the pawn. G4. Bishop to H4, pinning this knight and queen. I think I played this one relatively good, actually. G takes. Somehow I wrote here G takes F3, which doesn't really make sense. I'm just gonna put this on the board. And here we go. King H7, King H1, getting ready for this. My pawn is hanging though. Rook to G7, Rook to, oops, Rook to G1. Yeah, insert Rook to G1. He plays Rook to G6, and I'm going for Bishop to D1, rerouting the bishop. I can actually take here because his knight is pinned. Queen to F8, unpinning. I put bishop takes F6, rook takes F6, and rook to G5. E takes A3, rook takes H5 check, king G8, and I play B3 here. This is probably an error, but I didn't want him to enter. Rook to G6. Yeah, I'm just trying to show you guys an idea of what under 1200 is like. It's a very unnatural play. Bishop to C2, trying to get this rook back onto the file, onto the rank. Bishop to C2. Okay. King G7. Queen to F3. I don't know what I was intending with this thing. Maybe putting some protection here, I don't know. Queen H8. Or is it G8? H8 or G8? Oh, I guess he sacrificed the queen here. Oh, because he thinks he's gonna get this pawn. I remember this now. He thought this pawn was his, but he forgot this move here. King H2, and I'm pretty sure he resigned. Some weird stuff. It's not all logical here. Yeah. Sometimes the 1200s just haven't developed their skills for my beginners. Yeah. The last match of the day was actually really good. This is the last match, so I'm doing alright now. I have 4.5 out of 6 points, and I would play one last opponent as white. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop B5, knight D4. This is a line, although it's known as rather risky. Yeah, you can just take here actually, but I did take. Okay, knight takes, E takes, C3, because if he takes I can just put my knight out. He plays C6, scaring my bishop away. I go bishop C4, he's got bishop C5. I got bishop B3 and he goes D5, so he's really hindering his development here. Yeah, I play E5 though, so I can't really talk. After queen to G5 here. I castled. He goes bishop to 8th H3, threatening mate on G2. Very straightforward. Queen to F3, defending this. Bishop to G4, queen to G3, and he goes F6 because there's a pin here working. I was threatening H3. I played D3 here, attacking the queen. And he goes queen F5. I go C takes D4. I remember this match. He was offering me a lot of draws. The whole game actually. My phone just vibrated. Okay. He goes bishop E2, rook E1, queen takes D3, queen takes D3, bishop takes D3, bishop D2, and he castles long, although he's made these pawn moves which are really bad. After knight C3, F takes E5, D takes E5, we both gain 2 passed pawns. These guys are major factors. He goes for bishop to C4. Yeah, I go bishop C2, he goes D4. I have to move the knight, knight E4, D3, bishop B3, bishop D5, knight G5, and bishop takes B3, A takes B3. He goes bishop C5. Yeah. And now knight F7. Boom. But he calculated this. That's the thing. Notice how this bishop is attacking F1. So he goes rook to F7 here. And I counted forever, and this move helped a lot. E6, knight H6, attacking the pawn. I play rook A to C8, attacking his bishop. He does bishop takes F2, king takes F2, knight takes F7, bishop B4. Very tactical here. Knight E5, bishop takes F8. He goes D2 here. I go E7, and knight G4 check, king E2, D takes E1, queening, rook takes E1, knight F6, preventing me from promoting, bishop takes G7, rook G8, bishop takes F6, king to D7, king F3, A5, and yeah, this is the resignable point. It's pretty much over. So I scored 5.5 out of 7 in this tournament, which is actually a pretty good score. It was under 1200. We went all the way to Minneapolis to play this. It was on April 15th, 2012. Yeah, I actually got, I think it was like 16th place or something. My school got 2nd place. I think this year, well, next year starts in 3 days. So, I'm gonna be playing for the Open in the Nationals actually. And just give me some advice, guys. I'm a lot better than this now if you look at any of my 15-minute games. Yeah. Just give me some advice. What opening should I play in the tournament? I think I need to start my opening preparations. I'll share some of that with you guys. So I'll talk to you guys later, man. Comments on YouTube and please give me a thumbs up.